Yes, people, I'm Srini, and you are watching MTAC TV after yesterday's crazy semi-final. And yes, I'm still heartbroken. Of course, Italy have gone to the final, and today we'll find out if England or Denmark join them. And of course, today my boys Samrit, Pranay, and Amog are joining me on today's show. We're gonna analyze both the teams. We're gonna analyze the lineups, do all of that, and yeah, tell you how the game's gonna go. So let's not waste any more time. I'll read the England lineup. Samrit, you read the Denmark lineup, and then we analyze the game. So for England, there's one change. Bukayo Saka replaces Jadon Sancho, but apart from that, it's the same team. Jordan Pickford starts in goal. The back four comprises of Kyle Walker, Luke Shaw, John Stones, and Harry Maguire. The usual double pivot of Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice start. Mason Mount starts as a 10 with Bukayo Saka playing on the right, Raheem Sterling playing on the left, and Harry Kane starting up top. Samrit, what's the Denmark lineup?
The Denmark lineup has been pretty much standard as it is today. They're going to play a 3-4-3 or a 5 at the back, as you may want to see. There's going to be the captain, Simon Carr, right in the middle of it, being the captain. He's going to be surrounded by Christensen and Vestergaard from Southampton. We're going to have Mala on the left wing back position, and we're going to have Larson on the right wing back position. In the midfield, we're going to have Højbjerg, who's been a very good player for the team, and he's going to be partnered with Thomas Delaney, of course, and the front three of Brathwaite, Dolberg, and Damsgaard continues as it has through the whole tournament.
Fair point, fair point. So, pretty expected lineups, pretty standard lineups. But we'll go to you, Pranay, first. What do you make of the England lineup?
Okay, so what I do make of the England lineup is that they're going to have their hands full. Because I see this Denmark lineup, the kind of game that they've been following so far. They usually follow a 5-3-2 kind of a system, but they press really high and they cover a lot of ground while they do so, and they are going to make sure that each person is going to be man-man. So England are going to have their hands full. I am actually feeling good about this game.
Fair point. So, Amog, let's go to you. We were talking off camera, and you talked about how this team is really, really good, and I'm referring to the Denmark team, of course. So, yeah, what do you make of the selections today?
The selections are pretty standard, I'd say. I mean, England are going with the same sort of formation that they did against Ukraine. And, I called it last time that Kane would score brace, and he did. So maybe there's more of that in store for tonight. But Denmark have been solid, and, I mean, they could be considered as like the dark horse by many. Yeah, I mean, we've seen Denmark score, I think, 11 goals in this campaign, which is one short of Spain. So they've been, putting it in the net. So, I mean, I'm excited to see, that midfield at least try to push up and give England some, competition. But I'm still looking at it like, it's coming home.
Fair point. And we'll discuss it. We'll discuss if it's coming home. We'll also discuss Kasper Schmeichel throwing shade in just the most brilliant fashion ever by saying it's never been home, which is actually true. But it's been home for Denmark, in case you didn't know. Denmark did win the Euros in 1992. But let me go to you, Samrit. We've discussed the lineups, right? What sort of an approach do you want to see from England? Because England are easily the favourites in this game. Southgate's not gone for a 3 at the back, so this means that he does want to go forward. He does want to attack. So what do you want to see from England today?
I want to see the likes of Mason Mount and Calvin Phillips go up and not just stay back with Declan Rice. I hope Declan Rice will be in that sole pivot, because before, I know in the earlier days of Calvin Phillips, he had he used to go forward and he had that bit, and we saw it in the earlier games in the Euros. But as things progress, he also started, being alongside Declan Rice, protecting the back four. So I'm hoping to see them have more possession. I'm hoping to see that they push forward. At least Calvin Phillips pushes forward, because I feel the likes of Sterling, Kane, and Saka will try to make runs, and you need those incisive balls from Mason Mount and Calvin Phillips. And as for Denmark, I believe they're going to continue with their approach, going to play the long balls, get Højbjerg involved, because he's made 10 chances, same as Kevin De Bruyne. So he's been their secret weapon. He's been quite good. So I feel these are the approaches both the teams should take. Maybe England should go forward more, and Denmark should continue what they've been doing through the whole tournament. Shini, what do you think the two teams should do today? What is your understanding?
Yeah, first of all, I'm very happy that Bukayo Saka is starting. I know that's a bit of an unpopular opinion, and he gets slaughtered because of the Sancho propaganda. Of course, because he has joined Manchester United, because he's exceptional. But I think Bukayo Saka has been great when he's played. Second game was a little middling. First game, he was the man of the match. So I'm really happy to see him start because I think he's very electric in the sense that what he offers that the other England wingers don't offer is that he goes deep and he can very naturally play centrally because in the academy days he used to play centrally as well. He can play out wide. He can play in like 5-6 positions anyway. So I like the fact that he can take the ball from a Mason Mount or a Calvin Phillips and just drive at the defense. That's how like when he played in his first game. I don't remember who England played against, but the first goal was created by doing that. I remember Sterling scored like a header at the far post or something like that. But the goal started with Saka dropping deep, driving at the opposition defense, and then making things happen. So even though the likes of Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice will play very deep, it's great that someone like Saka is there to sort of make sure that they have another sort of person who can drive with the ball, who can carry the ball. Because Raheem Sterling is more of a goal scorer right now. Actually, the wing threat comes from Luke Shaw and Bukayo Saka in this team for me. So, yeah, I want to see England approach the game like they did in the last game. Of course, the Ukraine game was much easier than we thought it was. I think Ukraine were pretty dire on the night, if we're being very honest. They gifted the win to England. Fair play to England, but I'm just saying it was a very straightforward game. And this is not going to be the same. So, England are gonna have to be better in possession. I'm actually surprised Southgate didn't match Denmark. Not that I would rather he did that, but Denmark are a really quality side, and yeah, they're definitely gonna give them a lot of. They're definitely gonna have their hands full England tonight. And from a Denmark point of view, I think they also kind of have to switch things up. So when they started the tournament, they weren't as flamboyant as they are right now. Like they were a little defensive. They were feeling themselves throughout the tournament, and now we sort of see the finished article. So they kind of have to be very patient. They have to play the long game. They have to be defensive. Like they need to play on the counter. They can't just go forward and be adventurous because England do have the likes of an informed Harry Kane now and a Raheem Sterling, and Denmark have the likes of Striker Larsen and Miley to cause them problems. They can be very direct as well. So, as I said with Ukraine, I think they need to follow the Switzerland model of things, which is to recycle the ball, be very patient in possession, and not rush things because ultimately the Euros have taught us something is that going to extra time is not the worst thing in the world. And same with penalties because it's anyone's game. So England should do what they always do, and Denmark should be a little cautious and play the game in phases. But I'll go to you, Amog, this time around. Oh, Samrit, you want to add something, right?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to quickly add to what you said, Shini. When we go to penalties, you have Kasper Schmeichel in goal. So Denmark should be more confident. So that's,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly, man. The guy's a proper specialist. But let's go to you, Amog. Samrit and I kind of touched on how England should go about the game, how Denmark should go about the game, and I think everyone has the same answer, right? England should be adventurous, Denmark should not, etc., etc., etc. So, do you have a separate take or a different take to that, or do you want to touch on your key players for tonight?
My take is more just the analysis of what Denmark can do to like maybe hold this England squad. We've seen, England be very lethal, in their set pieces, and they've scored a lot already this campaign. And Denmark, if you've seen over the last, couple matches, they've always, been able to pounce early. They score early, but
Yeah.
in the second half, they sort of, relax and they concede goals, right? Really cheap goals, and we've seen that against Belgium and even against was it Sweden in the last round. So yeah, I mean, like Denmark really need to like up their sort of concentration in terms of holding their back line properly. I mean, they had a really exceptional performance against Wales. I mean, they were able to bring everyone back and defend as equally as they were lethal on the counter attack against a really shaky Wales defense. But England have shown in the last game that their wide men, especially with the left back, Luke Shaw has been outstanding this campaign. So they have to be really careful of him. And I have to say that, but Denmark have a really exciting front three. So that's something that I guess Stones and Maguire definitely have to keep their concentration on. But Rice has done an exceptional job, at least especially in the last game. Wherever Stones and Maguire were drifting, Rice was able to like come back and hold Yaremchuk and Yarmolenko. So hopefully, we see Brathwaite silent, we see Dolberg silent. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game.
Fair
And
points for you. Yeah, I just had a question for Pranay. I totally agree with
yeah,
you. You need to keep their concentration because if you don't, this England team can punish you like they did with Germany. But Pranay, I want to ask you something. So
Sure,
England have
go
not
ahead.
conceded a single goal, right? They're built on being this brilliant defensive side. So, what do you make of this approach? Because they're being attacking tonight, but their strength lies in defending. The thing that people were complaining about Southgate being very cautious is probably their best attribute. So, when they play Denmark, who can attack, do you think they should have done the same thing, or do you think Southgate's done the right thing tonight?
No, I even though even because of the whole scenario, I have my doubts there because see, the whole point of Denmark playing a 3-4-3 kind of a formation is that they can play more players forward. So they can have a Højbjerg who can drive in, while they can create a back four of either Christensen dropping it at the right back position or Christensen going into the CDM position, which promote like a higher kind of a person to either sit back or drive forward. So they can form a back four. So that can happen during in game. But I guess Samvit has already mentioned the fact that Højbjerg has created 10 chances from open play. So I can see that happening. Now my problem with the England side right now is that when Denmark are gonna attack, who will be that one CDM either of Karen Phillips or Declan Rice who will drop in to defend and to support? For me, it's going to be Rice because he was a naturally centre back kind of a player early in the academy, which will promote Calvin Phillips going forward. But Calvin Phillips going forward would leave Declan Rice open because he needs that kind of protection. So I have my reservations against this English side. But again, looking at the game, it's going to be a pretty good game. I have other things to touch forward. We'll go get back to that later.
Yeah, true. And this Danish midfield is not a joke. Højbjerg is a ball winner. Thomas Delaney is very industrious. He won the man of the match in the last game. So England could. I mean, England won't have a field day in midfield. Is all I want to say. I'll take a
Yeah.
couple of the comments and then we'll discuss who our key players for tonight are, our man of the match, all of that. By the way, yesterday I think I made some sort of a right prediction. Oh yeah, I think I was right in saying that Busquets was the best player on the pitch, and you were right in saying that Morata would make an impact. But anyway, I'm just मैं credit मतलब कहीं से ढूंढने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. But anyway, Ronaldo 123 rocks with a comment, such an intellectual comment. He says English players are overrated, have always been historically. Thanks to the media hyping them up. That's half true, but these English players are actually really good, and the fans are trash. Hope Italy ships it. You know what? I kind of say that in my group chats, but I want to look professional, so I won't say that. But the English players are not overrated. These boys are actually pretty special. The second comment is just you saying, "Is that DK? Are you a Dinesh Karthik fan?" I don't know. Anyway, Ariman Mishra says, "Anyone's game unless you have Emi Martinez." That's true. Shout out to Emi Martinez. That was so elite, man. What a boss. Ronaldo 123 Rock says, दो is that दो or is that something? अच्छा
Do
दो
Copa
do,
final.
do.
अच्छा दो कोपा फाइनल लाइव अच्छा
Yeah, he's asking us to do it.
Do it.
He's asking us to do a live for Copa.
Yeah, we will do a live for the Copa
We
final,
will,
man.
absolutely.
I'm more hyped about that than the Euros at the minute because of the Messi factor. But anyway, we'll save that for another conversation. I'll go to you, Samrit. Let's talk key players. There's so many key players from both sides. Who are your key players from both Denmark and England, and why?
I mean, the Euros have been the tournament for the left backs or the left wing backs, and if you look at Denmark's left wing back Mile, he's been quite fantastic, and he's one of my key players. As is Luke Shaw for England. Both have, I think, 2 assists each. So coming that from a left back in 5 games is pretty. Oh, Luke Shaw has
Luke Shaw has
3.
three. Luke
Oh,
Shaw has
Luke Shaw
three.
has
I mean,
three.
Luke Shaw has 3 assists. So I'm excited to see the left backs because this has been a tournament. I mean, you look at Jordi Alba, you look at Spinazzola. I mean, left backs have been balling in the Euros and they're showing their worth finally. I mean, it's more than just a position. You directly affect the team also. So these are my key players. And Amog, who are the key players for you?
My key players for tonight. I mean, it has to be Kane. I see him probably chasing down that golden boot. He's only too shy of tying Patrick Schick and Ronaldo. So hopefully he gets something tonight. I mean, I predicted it last time. I'm praying to God he does it again. but he'll definitely link up, like you said, with Shaw. I think he's been phenomenal. And yes, left backs. I mean, you've already explained that. But for Denmark, I'm a big fan of Chelsea, as you all know. So Andreas Christensen has had a great tournament, and he's kept everyone in his penitentiary. So today would be definitely another challenge to see the likes of familiar faces in the Premier League going up against him. So he definitely will be key. He's been always in that sort of sweeper role in a back three. At Chelsea and at Denmark, and with that belter of a goal, earlier in the group stage, there's a good chance that you can expect the unexpected. So yeah, I mean Kane, Shaw, and Christensen look to be my likely key players. And what about you, Pranay? What do you think?
So for me, it's going to be Højbjerg and Shaw. So because Højbjerg, because of the impact that he's having on this Denmark side, you can see him driving the ball from a right centre mid position onwards, which provides opportunity for somebody like a Damgaard or a Dolberg or sometimes even Martin Bradway to create something out of it. For Luke Shaw, he has 3 assists in the league, so obviously he's their top assister. He also has the most combined expected assists in the England lineup, so you can
Yeah.
almost see him creating chances because of the kind of formation that England are going to play going forward. So I'll just touch upon that slightly after we're done with the key players. Srini, on to you. Who are your key players of the game?
Yeah, I think the Luke Shaw shout is really good. I mean, I would go for that, but there's a lot of key players on the pitch tonight. But yeah, shout out to Luke Shaw, man. He's been exceptional this tournament. Honestly, he's been so good. And that Sterling Luke Shaw link, I don't know how that works, but it really does work. Honestly, they really know how to play well with each other. But I'll touch on Denmark first. I think as important as Højbjerg is, I think any of those centre backs are the key players. I'll probably go for Christensen, or I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Simon Kjaer? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Kjaer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Simon Kjaer. That's pretty decent. I'll go for Simon Kjaer actually. I was going to go for Christensen because the attacks for England come on that left hand side with Sterling and Shaw, so that's why it makes sense to go for Christensen. But because Kjaer is the leader of that bank line, I'll go for him. As important as Højbjerg will be in that midfield, ultimately Denmark will have to defend a lot. Whether it be for 90 minutes or 120 minutes, they'll have to constantly be at it. Even one lapse in concentration, the game is over against elite attackers like that. And Simon Kjaer organizes that backline so well. I mean, he is a leader on and off the pitch, as we saw with the Eriksen incident as well. Right? So I think Simon Kjaer is going to be very, very important in this game. He is actually a very underrated centre back in this area. He's absolutely excellent. So I think he's going to be pivotal in tonight's game, also because Bukayo Saka is going to dribble from that side as well. So it won't be easy. And with Maile bombing forward, he'll have a lot to do tonight. And by the way, this is not just a tournament for left backs, it's a tournament for right-footed left backs. Spinazzola, Maile, both right-footed. I mean, that's seen as a sin, but not anymore. And when we're talking about England, no bias. I genuinely, and I'll say this in every game, it's Raheem Sterling. I feel that England's attack has been misfiring all tournament, barring the last game. And Raheem Sterling makes everything happen. The assist for Harry Kane came through an excellent Raheem Sterling assist. Even the little back heel to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw with the amazing assist, but again that little link up. And I think Raheem Sterling has been the player of the tournament, considering he's doing it in a team that, even though they're littered with superstars, going forward they've been pretty average throughout the tournament. And it's Sterling who's had the answers time and again. Like in every winning goal, Raheem Sterling has had a contribution. He always scores the first goal or finds the assist, and is that clinical nature that sets him apart from the rest. Because Raheem Sterling, unlike Harry Kane, doesn't have to be involved in a game to make an impact. Like Raheem Sterling doesn't need to go past 2-3 players, but he'll be in the box, he'll hold his run, he'll score those goals. And I think Raheem Sterling, whether it's being out on that left hand side or even driving the ball as a cam, he's done that a lot. For his goal against Germany, he started that attack as a cam, and he does that really well when Luke Shaw occupies the left flank, right? So I think Raheem Sterling's goal scoring, the fact that he can play in 3 positions, striker, cam, and left wing, and the fact that he's England's best player, yeah, man, Raheem the Dream is my pick. 2 more comments, and then we'll take this forward. Arnav Deshpande says, my boy Luke Shaw taking man of match today, and the final heard it here first. That's not a bad shout, man. That's not even a hot take. Luke Shaw on form is right up there with any left back in the world. I don't think there's any denying that. Aryaman Mishra says you ain't winning the final though. That's not a bad shot to be fair. Italy are still everyone's favourites, but let's discuss man of the match because I think this is quite an interesting segment also because we can talk to each other about it when we're talking on the group or just in general. Amog, I'll go to you. Make your man of the match prediction. It could be a Denmark player, it could be an England player, but that kind of means you're revealing who you think will win. So yeah, who's your man of the match for tonight and why?
So my man of the match, yeah, I think you've already said it, but I think it's going to be Sterling. He's shown why he's in this squad and why he's never been left out, and that pace and the connection, with the left back as well as up ahead with any striker who's coming on for England has been phenomenal. But I'm trying to see maybe during this game whether swapping the wings would be really something useful for England like they did in the last game. And we saw Sancho coming in from the left and Sterling going down the right. So maybe that might add an extra element of attacking prowess towards that Danish opposition. So yeah, I mean I think Raheem Sterling is going to be the one to show why he's definitely aiming for that sort of player of the tournament prize. So yeah, he's my key player for tonight. What about you, Simrit? Who do you think is your key player for tonight?
I'll go for actually Martin Brathwaite. I mean, I know it's an unpopular shout, but what I see from the Denmark team is that Damgaard and Brathwaite keep switching behind Dolberg. So there's that sense of free-flowing football. And if you look at just statistics, I think he's hit the post a couple of times. He's scored a couple of goals, somewhere around that. I'm not exactly sure what the stats are, but so he has been important. I mean, he's not the most aggressive player, and he gets a lot of shit from social media, but he is tall. And the one good thing about this Denmark team is that they win a lot of aerial duels. They throw a lot of long balls forward, and I feel in such situations he becomes a very important player. So in a situation where Denmark go out and get the dub, I feel he's going to be very, very important, especially because he has that free-flowing role. And I was confused between Damgaard and Brathwaite, but I feel because both of them are so interchangeable and they're so free-flowing behind Dolberg, it could be either of them. So I'm going to go for an unpopular shout. Pranay, who's your man of the match?
Okay, so I just add one point to your statement. Denmark have won the most aerial duels in Euros per 90. They're winning 22 aerial duels per 90. So that's a great observation there. For me, it's going to be either of Raheem Sterling or Luke Shaw because I see the creativity coming down the left-hand flank. And because of Raheem Sterling's versatility throughout the tournament, there have been times where he is on to the right, there have been times where he's playing centrally, he links well with Luke Shaw, he links well with Kyle Walker. That basically him playing in City because of having good positional fluidity, which Pep has developed over the last couple of years with him. So I see him creating an impact, and that is the exact reason why Sterling has been doing tremendously well because he just looked fresh. He just looked really active on the pitch, even despite of the fact that all England fans will have they've been slandering him for no reason. But Raheem Sterling has been class. So I see either of him or Luke Shaw because all the creativity of the England side is going to come down the left hand side. So either of him or Luke Shaw to be my key players. Yeah, Mok, please go ahead.
Yeah, I had like an open-ended question for everyone. First of all, how good has Kasper Schmeichel been this tournament? I mean, he's done some, enormous saves during this campaign, and are you backing him tonight if this game goes into penalties?
Someone go ahead.
Your man of the match. Shini, who was your man of the match? I'm sorry, I don't think you did. You tell us your man of the match?
No, was Raheem Sterling.
My key player is Raheem Sterling, but my man of the match. I'm confused between either Sterling or you know what? Actually, see, my man of the match is Sterling, and I'm not going to get into it because I did get into it, and because he's playing at Wembley, which is his back garden. Honestly, like he really he's from Brent. There's that whole hashtag that goes "boy from Brent" because he is from Northwest London, and his record at Wembley is terrific, and he's actually very confident about scoring at Wembley. Like whenever he's going to play at Wembley, he always says, "Yeah, I'm going to score," because he's very familiar with it. Like he grew up like I think that's very beautiful that he grew up almost seeing Wembley being built and seeing matches being played on his little cycle, thinking he's going to play there one day. And now, like the in the last Euros, people were pushing to get Raheem Sterling out of the tournament mid-tournament. That's how much the agenda was. And now, with fans booing the knee and all of that, Raheem Sterling is the epitome of black excellence. So I think that is something that needs to be mentioned, because that's a very pertinent talking point that aside from the football is very important. And to see someone like Raheem Sterling stepping up, to see Kyle Walker stepping up, like these black athletes, is great to see. So a big shout out to them, because it's not easy to perform in those conditions when you're literally being insulted and then you have to go and give your best. So shout out to Raheem Sterling, Kyle Walker, and Raheem, all those guys, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho. But yeah, when you talk about Kasper Schmeichel, I do back Kasper Schmeichel. I think if it goes to penalties, it depends on whether Denmark score their penalties. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. But I expect Kasper Schmeichel to pull things off. Actually, I have a question for all of you. Let's make it a little more interesting. We've done the tactical stuff. All right. I'll go to each one of you. I'll go to Samrit first. 5 penalty takers for England, because we're not particularly familiar with the penalty specialist for Denmark. Your Samrit Southgate. Who are your picks?
Oh man, and especially considering I have to pick against Kasper Schmeichel, who saves so many penalties. It's crazy how underrated Kasper Schmeichel is.
Facts.
You have to go for the forward. You have to go for Harry Kane for sure. Mason Mount takes a penalty. Harry Maguire takes a penalty. He's
Who for
pretty.
Harry Maguire?
He's got a pretty good right foot. I've seen his ball distribution, and I feel maybe ahead of a very young Bukayo Saka. Perhaps a more experienced captain of Man United, Harry Maguire, steps up, at least in a semi-final. He has to. Man, this is so difficult. Raheem Sterling takes one because he's just been the man of the tournament up until now. It is also a lot to do with psychology, because we saw Alvaro Morata and the Spanish team missing so many penalties yesterday. So in my eyes, it is a lot to do with psychology. And my 5th penalty taker, I don't want to go for Bukayo Saka or Declan Rice. Let's go for Calvin Phillips. He's going to be my 5th penalty taker. But Harry Kane's going to take the 5th one. So that's my 5 penalty takers. What about you guys?
Yeah, Pranay, go for it.
Okay, so there's going to be Harry Kane. Luke Shaw takes one. Calvin Phillips takes one. If it goes down to penalties, I'm seeing Marcus Rashford come on. So Rashford's going to take one. And I need to pick. Okay, this is very difficult. I need to pick one and penalty taker myself.
Right? Yeah.
Oh,
It's a killing question, bro. I feel the tension.
So Sterling to take one, even though I trust Mount, I feel like Sterling, given the form that he is going to take one, and obviously Mount. So I'm confused between either Mount or Sterling, or Mount or Luke Shaw.
Fair play, fair play. You know what? I know we'll obviously have the footage to watch back, so I'll actually make notes so that I can remember if a penalty shootout happens, whose order sort of happens, and who messes up, so that we can give them the L. But Amok, who's your 5, man?
My 5 is kind of similar, but I think the double pivot, they're gonna have their penalties taken. So I think Rice, Phillips, Mount, Kane, and whoever comes on for either Sterling or Saka. So I think those 5 will be taking it and hopefully scoring all. Yeah, obviously we don't usually conventionally see the DMs, scoring, or at least sitting for penalties. But yeah, I think this is something that I think with that sort of responsibility, or maybe actually for that matter of fact, Shaw. I mean, I'm now just in a nutshell, but like maybe Shaw, he deserves a goal too. So maybe Shaw, Rice, Mount, Kane, and whoever comes on for Sterling or Saka.
Fair point. I mean, see, it's a very tough question also, because you don't know who's going to be on the pitch. So that's another talking point. I think mine are going to be not different, but maybe a little different. Harry Kane has to be in the penalties somewhere. I think Harry Kane is, like, if I could pick anyone from English history to take a penalty, I'll actually pick Harry Kane. I think he's that clutch in that, because he just smashes it in. Harry Kane's got to take it. Rashford has got to take a penalty. He's taken it in the bigger situations. It's a no-brainer for me. Mason Mount has to take penalties. He takes free kicks. Kieran Trippier has to take a penalty for me. Kieran Trippier is a great ball striker. Like, that matters a lot. Like, Kieran Trippier takes amazing free kicks, so you've got to give it to those guys. I'd never give a penalty to Raheem Sterling. Never in my life is he taking a penalty. I'm a City fan. I know what Raheem Sterling is about. Raheem Sterling misses too many penalties. His ball striking technique is not the best. That's why his finishing is being criticized. So no chance of my picking Raheem Sterling. I would love to go for Jordan Henderson because he's captain fantastic, but he misses penalties at times. So I won't go for him. I'll go for Phil Foden because again it's ball striking and confidence for me. That's the combination I'm going for. So that's my five. So it's in no particular order, and I'll go to you, Pranay. It's Harry Kane, it's Marcus Rashford, it's Mason Mount, it's Kieran Trippier, and who did I miss?
Rashford.
Harry Kane.
Phil Foden, Marcus Rashford, Harry Kane, Kieran Trippier, and Mason
Mason
Mount.
Mount.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mason
all
Mount.
right. You want to add to that?
Okay, so my problem with Phil Foden is that he's not been clinical in the tournament. He's missed too many close chances, so that's why
That's
I'm a
not
bit
true.
skeptical about Phil
That's
Foden.
not true. He's not.
Like
He's not.
I remember him,
That's not true. I mean, there's no bias. My thing is
and
when
there's no bias, obviously, but
yeah, I mean, it's biased from me because I'm a City fan, a big Phil Foden stan. But the thing is that like when Phil Foden plays, A, he's not a right winger. B, he never gets the ball because Walker is so defensive. So he kind of does nothing in games. So that's kind of how it works. But my thing with Phil Foden is that he's so technical. That's why I would have given Pedri a penalty. He's so technical that like Mourinho touched on this. He said that when you pick your team for penalties, obviously there's some people that are specialists, and there's some people you pick that are so technical that when they step up to take a penalty, they'll exactly know where to place it and they'll make it happen. It's happened to everyone where like you're going to take a penalty, you're aiming to go on the left, you go on the right, and you're like, yeah, I scored, but you messed up because you can't control it. But some players are so technical, they'll aim for the left, they'll probably get the left. Like Bernardeschi yesterday, what a penalty he took, right? So, but in any case, it doesn't matter. England penalties, you know how it goes. Boys, I'll go to Samrid. Is there anything we should discuss? Any questions? I think there is some one or two things we can discuss and then call it a night. So, any ideas?
Let's do predictions, substitutions, or combined
Substitution.
11. Either.
Combined 11 में शायद time लगेगा. Let's do substitutions. I'll go to you. If a player has to change the game off the bench, who is it and why is it Jadon Sancho?
It is Jadon Sancho, and this is a biased opinion. I'm going to let everyone know it is a biased opinion. I'm not even going to say it's unbiased. He had a bad game, but it's something you forget and move on. He hasn't played at all, so just throwing in him and expecting him to do well is also unreasonable in my opinion. So Jadon Sancho comes on. If for anyone, then if it goes to penalties, then maybe even Jadon Sancho is one of the guys who they'd look at to take the penalty because, as you said, even he's a player with pretty good technical ability, I'd say, because he gets past people. He's got decent finishing. So Jadon Sancho has to be. And for Denmark, I think, I don't know if I got his name right, but Poulsen, because he scored a couple of times. He scored a couple of times. I think he used to start earlier for Denmark, and then subsequently, once they changed formation post Eriksen, he dropped to the bench. But every time he comes on, he looks like a spark, and he seems like someone who knows how to get his goal. So these are my players. Pranay, what about you? Who are your key substitutes?
okay, so for me, key substitutes is one of them obviously has to be either a Jadon Sancho or Marcus Rashford because both wingers, and I see this game later on developing into a man versus man. So in those kind of situations, you need people who can dribble past, and Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford both have great dribbling abilities there. So because Denmark's defense, they are very extremely physical, so you can't always expect them because of the aerial prowess that Denmark have. You need somebody on the ground to create chances. So your central penetration kind of a game has to be on top, and that is why we need Jadon Sancho or Marcus Rashford, somebody who can have a take on, who can be successful at it and create not aerially. So that is why, if this game ever goes anywhere near extra time, that is Jadon Sancho has to be my key player from the bench. And I will agree with Samrit there that Yusuf Poulsen has looked like somebody who can get in and change the game, take the game by the scruff of the neck and change it. So I agree with him there.
Fair
Amo,
point.
what about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, Srini.
I'd probably go with Denmark first. I'd say that, like, substitution-wise, I think what Samrit said was also correct, that, Yusuf Poulsen, be that those extra paired legs to sort of give that attacking aspect to the game. Let's say if the game dies out. But honestly, I'm looking forward to a really exciting game. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of tussle in the midfield, and he'd definitely be someone to drive at maybe a worry defense of, like, if Kane or Maguire, sorry, if Stones or Maguire sort of loses their stamina. But yeah, Yusuf Poulsen, and let's just say in a situation where Denmark does win, I think Joachim Andersen is definitely a defender to put on and sit back and relax. He's had a brilliant campaign, again with Fulham, and like there have been rumors circulating that he'll go to some top clubs this season. So that's also something to think about. But also, like, for England, I feel like Jack Grealish is like the perfect sub. I mean, he's energetic. He provides those last minute assists. He's definitely someone to look for that aspect of, let's say, Mount is tired or not contributing as much in the game. And again, I'd probably put on someone like Jude Bellingham over Phillips maybe in the second half, just to see the game out, and make sure that there's some sort of stability in both attacking and defending, because we see Phillips is more of a defensive player, but Jude Bellingham is class for the age he's at. So, like, yeah, I mean, we don't talk about the young player. I mean, the young players at this tournament have been spot on, and we saw Pedri last night. I mean, who knows? Jude Bellingham could be that sort of substitute Pedri in the midfield. So that would be definitely exciting for me.
Fair points, man. Fair points. Personally, so the key player or the player that would change the game off the bench is not on the bench, funnily enough. Otherwise, I'd go for DCL in this game, because Denmark, like, you'll have to be direct because they play at low blocks. So, like, DCL would cause havoc in the air, but he's not on the bench, so that doesn't count. I'll go for Jack Grealish. And by the way, Jack Grealish is one of my 5 penalty takers instead of Phil Foden as well. Or Jadon Sancho. It's one of them. But for some reason, I think Jadon Sancho would miss. I don't know why. I just think something wrong would happen. Not because he can't take a penalty. He can. But I don't know why, I just get a bad vibe. So I'd go for Jack Grealish. He's on top of the world right now. And he is my impact sub as well. I would have started Jack Grealish. I don't understand why he's not played. He can play the game at so many different paces. You saw what Danny Olmo did in extra time last night, where he was dragging defenders and he was, going past defenders, winning fouls. That is Jack Grealish's game. Like, that is what he does throughout the 90 minutes. And when the Danish defenders are going to be tired, when the Danish midfielders are going to be tired, there's no one better than Jack Grealish. Not just to pick a pass, but to dribble past people. Jadon Sancho, what Jadon Sancho is really good at is, of course, taking players one-on-one, but I think he'll station himself much more on the left, much more on the right, where Jack Grealish will just float around constantly and be a constant menace, which is perfect for the likes of, say, Marcus Rashford's on the pitch, say, Raheem Sterling's on the pitch. They'll make those run-ins behind and they can destroy a team in extra time. And Samir, I'll go to you just in a minute. But yeah, I mean, Amok touched on your Joachim Andersen, and I think he's linked to Spurs, which would be an amazing signing because he's so class. But I don't think there's many people off the bench that would cause an impact. So you have to go for Poulsen, but I don't think a player off the bench is going to change the game. Samrit, do you want to add to that?
Very quick question to you, Srini. Who do you think Jack Grealish would replace in this England 11? Would it be Mount or Bukayo Saka?
It's a good question. I mean, Amog knows I'm a big Mason Mount stan. I don't think he's needed in these kinds of games. I know it's a big semi-final, but I think they can do away with Mason Mount in certain games. Like, I'd play Mason Mount in the final, but I wouldn't play him in this. But if you want to, sort of be safer because Mason Mount does so much off the ball, I'd 100% replace Bukayo Saka. I know Raheem Sterling's been doing very well off the left, but Raheem Sterling is way more unpredictable off the right. I've wanted Pep to play him on the right for ages. I don't know why these managers don't see it. His transformation started on the right, and then he starts scoring like the most goals he's ever had in his career off the left. So I would play Raheem on the right and Grealish off the left. But boys, let's do predictions, or I'll take the comments. There's been so many comments, and there's a lot of love for Amog in the comments, man. Jeez. So I'll take the comments very quickly, and then we'll do predictions. It's been a long video, but I think it's been a lot of fun to do, man, honestly. And shout out to you guys for joining us. Chinmay Khandekar says, joined in late, but Saka over Grealish or Sancho? ? Saka's been great. Saka over Grealish is a question mark for me. Saka over Sancho isn't to me. Not going in on Sancho. He played one game. He wasn't great. it's a tournament. There's no patience is not a thing in tournaments, unfortunately. And if you play Sancho in this game, he doesn't have a good game. People slander him. There's no need for all of that. It's not his fault. So the Saka pick is pretty safe. Karan Acharya says at Amog fly Qatar Airways first class to London. हमें भी ले जाइए यार please.
Book my ticket.
Please, one way ticket. Kabir says at Amog the Anderson rumors have him linked to Arsenal. Who's the top club he's linked to? Oh, very nice, Kabir. He's linked to Spurs as well, so that joke still applies.
Love the slander.
Dhruv Lat says, nah, Amok got work tomorrow too. Karan Acharya says, Amok should go instead of Kane tonight. Yeah, man, Amok should start. Amok's going to bag a hat trick. That Mason Mount
Yes,
connection
of
is really going to work. It's a Chelsea thing.
That's the way.
Yeah. Dhruv Lat says, more like Harry Con because Amog is the only relevant one. Wow, that's so rude, man. Fair. I like
Appreciate
that.
the love, guys.
Appreciate the love. Karan Acharya says, I just know two names here, Harry Kane and Amog. Achha. Great.
Which is why he should listen to MTAG more and subscribe because you'll know a lot more
Yes.
names if you.
Yes. Love it. That's brilliant from Samrat. I think, by the way, that Tanay ki light gayi hai, so don't go in on him. Dhruv with a comment says, y'all sound like professional commentators, brah. Yes, we are kind of sounding like professional commentators, but yeah, man, we're just doing our best, man. We're just a bunch of fans.
Samrit. Turn up the
I'm
lights
glad.
there.
I was like, so ye kya ho gaya? Karan Acharya says, you know what? There's just so many Amog comments. You know what? This is going to take a lot of time. TK, we get it. Amog is a superstar. Amog is winning Golden Boot at the Euros, all of that. But, Pranay is back. Yes, come on. Nice one.
I want to die. This is the second time that's happening in 3 days that the lights went out.
Yeah, man. I think someone's plotting against you. But chalo, let's do quick predictions. Pranay, I'll go to you first since you're back. England, Denmark, semi-finals of the Euros. What's going to happen and who are your goal scorers?
Okay, so it's going to be a 2-2 till ET. My goal scorer is going to be Harry Kane 1, either of Raheem Sterling or... Okay, so I'll go with Raheem Sterling 2. For Denmark, it's going to be Damsgaard and Dolberg, the two goal scorers. And then from there on to penalties, I don't know what's going to happen. Samrit, what about you?
Scoreline wise, I'm going to go for the same prediction. I'm going to go for a 2-all. And let's go to penalties again because I also want to see the two keepers in action because I know Srini slanders Pickford quite a lot, so it's gonna be a lot of fun seeing Pickford. My goal scorers are gonna be let's go for Bradford because I've been backing him the whole life. He's gonna get one goal today. Let's go Dolberg with 1 goal. So the 2 goals for Denmark come from there. The 2 goals for England, Harry Kane gets 1 and Marcus Rashford off the bench gets 1, and then in penalties he scores as well. Among, what is your prediction? And Denmark win in penalties.
Wait, Pranay, who wins penalties? You have to tell us who wins on penalties.
Denmark, obviously.
Oh,
If it goes to
penalties.
penalties, I don't see the English team having a chance there. Of
Oh.
all the people in the work, I just see Denmark being technically better at pens, and I think that's in their game plan as well. Just saying.
Fair point, man. Let's go to you, Amog. What's your prediction? Who are your scorers?
Well, historically, England haven't had the best results against Denmark in previous international tournaments. So I think they're anyways trying to shy away from that penalty sort of curse and drought. So like they definitely want to keep it within the 90s. So I'm anyways pro England now. So I think it's coming home. It's got to be a 2-1 win. I think Kane and Sterling with the goals and. I think maybe Denmark might be able to score early. So for that reason, I think, Dolberg will probably score. I've been a fan of the guy since he played that game against Wales. I mean, phenomenal performance, great curling shots. I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be entertaining, but I see it coming home. What about you, Srini?
Good shouts. By the way, I want Samrit shouts. I want Pranay shouts. I don't want it to end in 90 minutes. I'm spoiled. Like when the Premier League's back, I'm gonna wait for penalties round. Like even in my games, like I love it honestly. If it goes to pens, Denmark are winning for me. I agree with you guys, but I kind of side with Amog. I think England are gonna win tonight, and I'll go for either a 2-1 or a 2-0. I'll go for a 2-0 win, and I'm going for Sterling and Mason Mount to score tonight. So yeah, that's my prediction. Let's take a couple of the comments and then we'll end the show. Sandeep Malhotra says England haven't conceded the whole tournament. See them conceding two and that too Brathwaite. No, no way. I've gone for a 2-0. I think they'll keep a clean sheet. And even
I
though
agree.
and even though I go in on Pickford, he's had a stupendous tournament. Stupendous. He's proved everyone wrong. So shout out to him, man. He was so good against Germany as well. So yeah, man, he's been brilliant. Chinmay Khandekar says 2-1 to England. Kane and Stones. Damsgaard. Come on, John Stones. By the way, guys, do you not think John Stones gets no credit at all? No one talks about John Stones. Like they talk about Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
He's been his
But
pass
he's
is
in the
great.
memes, man. You know, he's taken a selfie with Ruben Diaz on Twitter.
I saw that.
I mean,
I saw that on Twitter. Yeah. No, but
he's like the
seriously,
greatest defender of all time, right?
I mean, I'm just saying. I just don't think he gets any praise. Like Harry Maguire is great. I say it too. He's clutch, amazing passer, great defender, leader. But I just don't see Stones getting anything. It was when Harry Maguire wasn't present, Stones and Mings did handle that defense. So I don't know. I think they should get more credit. But fair enough. Karan Acharya says keep calm and support Amok's team. Okay, yeah, we get it. Amog is great. Amog should get the Nobel Peace Prize. We understand. Harnath Deshpande says, no way Pickford works the pens well. You don't know, but a lot of these penalty specialists are not great goalkeepers in general. Claudio Bravo is one of them. So you don't know. It could happen. Arnav Deshpande says 2-0 England, Sterling and Rashi. Fair play. Aryaman Mishra says 4-3. What's your final score? I hope your final score is not 4-3. He says 4-3 pens England W. Fair enough. So many comments, by the way, guys. Thank you so much. Mostly just Amog prop. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us, guys. I hope you subscribed to the MTAC TV channel. I hope you followed us on the socials. Finally got it right. Instagram, Facebook is for old people. Instagram, Twitter, Bumble, not Bumble. I always say it, but Bumble, Twitter, Tinder. You need to give us like a sponsorship or something. But anyway, thank you so much for joining, guys. Let us know where you want to see us for the final. Is it YouTube? Is it IG Live? Do you guys want us to do 2 sessions a day where like you see us in the night and during the day we just talk about the game just for 15-20 minutes? Let us know. And what else? Check out the website. Obviously, we cover Euro 2020 content daily. Although I didn't want to write after that Spain game, I was like, no chance am I writing. But we will drop something tomorrow. And until next time, we move. But there is a comment from Sandeep Malhotra, so I'll take it. He says, "Nah, Pickford is not good. He's not. He's been protected with 2 solid centre backs and 2 out-and-out DMs, and of course, Shawberto Carlos. I think he's been great. Samrit, you want to add to that? I think
Quickly,
he's been
just
great.
like quickly, no analysis. Do you think Gareth Southgate would get Pickford off and put Dean Henderson in for the pens?
Oh, go for it, Pranay. Go for it. Good
No.
question.
I don't trust Southgate with that because I'll tell you one thing. Southgate doesn't like to experiment a lot. He's very industrious in his formation because he's drilled him continuously. So I'm pretty sure they would have practiced this, even despite of the fact that Dean Henderson has like 45% penalty saving. I don't see that happening.
Amok?
Yeah, I agree with Pranay. I don't think.
Wait,
Southgate's
guys,
going to
just
do
very
it.
quickly, Sandeep says, and he's right. I just thought of this as well.
Dino
Dino is
yeah.
injured, mate.
Yeah.
So so that's not.
Forgot about
That's
that.
not
I wouldn't
Using
have vouched
Pickford.
for Aaron Ramsdale. No way.
Yeah, no chance.
Oh,
no
no.
way. No.
No way.
No way in hell. All right, there's a couple of comments and then I'll end the show. Kabir says, at Arnav, Pickford is 2 for 2 in penalty shootouts for England. That's true. The Colombia one is iconic, according to England fans. That's iconic. So, yeah, there's that. But, yeah, I think Pickford wouldn't be that bad at penalties. I just think Kasper Schmeichel has the heart of a lion, man. I really do. He's just like his dad. So, shout out to him, man. He's going to do the business in the penalties. And this Sandeep Malhotra comment that we addressed, guys, just very quickly, yes or no, has Pickford been brilliant during the Euros? Because I was criticizing him, but I have no problem in saying that he's been class. To me, he's been class. Amog, yes or no? Pickford, yeah or nay?
Yeah.
Pranay? Yes, and Samrid?
He's been class, but like somebody in the comments also mentioned that he's been protected by 2 centre backs and 2 DMs and Bukayo Saka who come back. They're at clean sheets over 620 minutes now. So if I'm being honest, like he hasn't had a lot to do, but whenever he's called on, he's done well. So nothing to take away from Pickford. He's done his job. So I hope he does his job today also. I mean, I don't hope because I want Denmark to win. So I hope Pickford fucks up like he did in the Premier League. So let's go Denmark.
Amog, you want to add to something?
Yeah,
Man?
I just wanted to say that. I mean, I was yay, but like, see, the thing is, I would have preferred Carl Darlow over Aaron Ramsdale, and if Carl Darlow was play like as a sub tonight, I would see him probably coming on and being there for pens.
Carl Darlow, man. I did not
Yeah.
expect that name to be, called out in this preview, but that's what you get at MTAC TV, man. This is the analysis. I forgot Carl Darlow was a human being, I'll be honest. So fair enough. I
But
think
he's had a great season at Newcastle, so
he
you
has,
can't
he
deny
has.
that.
Yeah.
Therefore, and I
Agree.
think Pickford, that's the mark of a top keeper. Not that Pickford is, but like when you play in a top team, you're not going to concede a lot of chances. But when you get called upon, you have to have that concentration. Unai Simon had a terrible game yesterday. He kept coming out, gave me like 5 heart attacks in the game. Pickford hasn't done that. And in the Germany game, for example, that Kai Havertz save was crucial, for instance. So it's things like that, which is why, I did say he's not been great and he isn't, but at the Euros, I think he has. But anyway, I've already done the outro, guys. Just subscribe, like, do all of that, man. Follow us on the socials. All of that. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on the social. Yeah. Okay. We're done. Watch the game. We hope it's a good game. I hope Denmark win. But then I also want to see an England-Italy final because it's a bit boring if there's so many upsets in the tournament as well. Because I think Italy would eat Denmark alive, to be very honest. But anyway, until next time, guys.